Welcome to the Veterans Archives podcast, where we honor our nation's veterans by preserving and sharing their stories. You can also hear Veterans Archives on Wreaths Across America Radio every Thursday at 5 p.m. To learn more about our mission, watch veteran interviews, or find out how to record a veteran story, please visit veteransarchives.org. And if you or a veteran you know needs support or resources, we encourage you to download the Battle Buddy app from vetlifetoday.org. Today is Monday, June 15th, 2026. We're talking with Tod Smith, who served in the United States Navy. So good morning, Tod.
Good morning.
Thanks for taking time out of your busy day to sit and talk with us today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, we'll just get started right away with probably the hardest question. When and where were you born?
I was born right here in Lansing, Michigan in 1967.
Okay.
Yep.
And grew up in Lansing then?
Grew up in Lansing. Outside of my time in the military, I was in Lansing my entire life.
Okay. And brothers and sisters?
Two brothers, both younger. My middle brother also was in the Navy. And then my younger brother didn't go in the military, but he still lives in the area. Yep.
Oh, okay. So you're the oldest?
I'm the oldest. Yep. So you're oldest of three.
You're in charge?
No.
So three boys, though, that must have kept your parents busy.
It did. And great story. My mom had all three of us by the time she was 21. So she had me when she was 15. And then shortly after I was born, my dad went off to Vietnam. So, and he was gone for a short period of time. But yes, three boys, all by the time my mom was 21 years old.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. She must have been tired a lot.
She was. I always told her she raised five boys. Three of her boys, and then my dad, and then my stepdad.
Yeah. She'd probably agree with you on that one too. Well, tell me about your parents then.
My mom and dad, both born and raised in Lansing here. Mm-hmm. My mom had a pretty rough upbringing. So as soon as she met my dad, it was an escape for her. Mm-hmm. So she got pregnant for me. And back then, she dropped out of school. My dad also dropped out of school. He not long after I was born, like I said, he went overseas. He went to Vietnam, him and my uncle both. And he was there 6 months and he was injured. He was shot in the foot. So we moved to Pennsylvania for a little while, my mom and I and my grandmother. He was there in a hospital. He went to Germany first and then over to Pennsylvania. So, of course, I was young, so I don't remember that, but I've heard so many stories.
Yeah.
But both of my parents, great people. They fought hard to raise us right, which I feel they did. My brothers and I are fairly successful. They didn't have much. We didn't have much growing up. We lived over on the south side of Lansing there. Went to Dwight Rich and Everett High School, and they did what they could. My dad eventually worked for General Motors, and we were a little bit better off. But early on, it was odds and end jobs. My mom did not work. She was a stay-at-home mom our growing up. Mm-hmm. She eventually also went into the workforce and retired from hospital in Charlotte. Good people. Just worked very hard.
Sounds like it. So Dwight Rich and Everett High School then, what was school like for you?
I was a little bit of an underachiever, so it was a little tough sometimes. And my dad was very tough on me. I can remember spending weeks in the house not being able to go outside because I didn't bring home a good grade or something, right?
Right.
But I had a lot of friends, got along, I'm pretty easygoing, so I got along with a lot of people, no problems there. Just didn't give it my all, but.
Were you that kid, like I remember being that kid where your guidance counselor would say something like, he's got great potential.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Which made my parents even angrier.
And I don't know if they do it nowadays. I don't remember my kids having this, but back then, you not only got your grade, but you got a citizenship grade.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And I would always get like a B5 because I was always talking, right? I was always that person that was always paying attention to everybody else and
getting yourself in trouble.
Yeah.
Wow, I forgot all about the citizenship grades.
Yeah.
That's funny. Now, did you play sports or did you have like...
I did.
Okay.
My dad was actually a football coach in his spare time, all the way up through the semi-pro ranks.
Oh.
So it was kind of an expectation that his boys were going to play football. I did, and my middle brother did. My younger brother didn't. He had some hip problems, but so I played football from the time I was 6 until I graduated high school. Played for some of the younger teams around here, and then I played for Dwight Rich, and I played for Everett High School. Won a city championship my last year of Pop Warner football. Not to toot my own horn, but I was pretty good. I never came off the field.
I would think with your dad as the coach and you playing football for so long, I'd be disappointed if you weren't good at it.
Yeah, I was all right. I was a pretty good athlete.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy football probably as much as he would have liked me to when I got to the high school ranks, but I was still there, and I had a good time with it, and I met a lot of good people. One of the most influential people in my life, who turned out to end up being my dad's best friend. Oh. My dad joined the coaching staff when I played Pop Warner for the team I played on, and the head coach, Dick Dragasek,
took care of you?
I talked to him yesterday. Great guy. He's actually my uncle now. My aunt would come out to our games, and they ended up becoming a couple. He's been my uncle for 45 years. Just a fantastic individual.
Yeah. What do you think that he did for you that maybe your dad didn't do for you? Because I can see it. Like, this guy is really somebody important to you.
Yeah. Very important to me. He just taught me how to, my dad taught me how to be a man as well.
Yeah.
But without going into too much detail,
that's fine.
My uncle was just genuine, just a genuine person, and just taught me like kind of who I really want to be.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
I think everybody needs that influence in their lives.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that keeps a lot of people from going off on a path they don't need to go off on. Yeah. Now, when did your parents split up? Because you mentioned that you had a stepdad.
Yeah, my parents were married for 32 years.
Wow.
A long time. Again, since my mom's teen years, right? They were married for quite a while, and then they got divorced. Then my mom actually lived with me for a while. Then she met a man, a wonderful guy, and they were married for over 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, they're both gone now. They're both passed, and so is my dad.
Yeah, now it's up to you to kind of carry on the legacy, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So let's back up a little bit then. You get through high school. What happens after high school?
Well, I mentioned I was a little bit of an underachiever, right? I did just enough to get by. I did just enough to pass and graduate and that kind of thing. And then reality hits you, life hits you, and you're like, now what, right? There was no way I was going to go to college. I didn't have the help. My parents weren't going to help me to try to figure that out. And I really didn't know where to start. So I went down to the recruiting office, told my dad, maybe I want to go this route. You can learn a skill, you can get paid, you can travel. And he's actually the one that talked me into the Navy because I had an uncle that was in the Navy. And we sat down and talked to him, and my dad was in the Army, and he wasn't too hip on me joining the Army and just going off to somebody's desert. So he's like, you should really check out the Navy. So I did. It looked fun. It looked interesting. So we went down to the recruiting office and I joined.
Yeah, what was it back then? Join the Navy, see the world.
Yeah,
I think
something
is what
like
that
that.
was. The Army was be all you can be.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember those days. And so talk me through that. Like, so you pretty much knew you were going to join the military then when you went to go see the recruiter.
I did.
Yeah.
Yep. It kind of felt like the only option I had, right? Because I was working 2 jobs at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I was working a construction job with Clark Foundation, cement work. It was pretty tough work.
Yeah.
And then on the side, I was working at McDonald's just to make some extra cash. This seemed like a good out, right?
Uh-huh.
I can leave the area for a little bit, kind of reset, figure out where my life's going to go. So, yeah, that was most of the reason I joined. And when I went down to the recruiting office, my recruiter was a gunner's mate,
Uh-huh.
and I thought, I got to do something that when I get out, it'll relate, right?
Yeah.
And he was telling me all about, the big thing come, electronics and hydraulics. This is 1985, right?
Oh, yeah.
So there was no internet or nothing like that yet. No flat screen TVs.
No cell phones.
But technology, right? So he was like,
Right.
this could relate to the outside. So I signed on as a gunner's mate. And then I went to boot camp and found out that I was colorblind.
Can't do that.
No. So that was a little curveball.
Yeah.
So these are the 6 rates that you can do, right? So I chose machinist mate, and that's what I went in as.
And that's a hard-working job right there.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. But I enjoyed it. Got me to where I'm at today.
Yeah.
So
Well, so let's talk a little bit about, so how long from the time you enlisted to the time you actually went to basic training? Do you remember that?
yeah, it was a short period of time.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So I enlisted in June, and I left for boot camp in September.
Oh, okay. And where'd you go to boot camp?
Great Lakes.
Oh.
Just north of Chicago.
Yeehaw.
Yeah. Right on the lake,
Yeah.
marching in mid-November.
Yeah.
Out by the lake. Yeah.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
And then Gunner's Mate School's right there, right? Or is that someplace else?
I'm not sure if the machinist mate school's there.
Oh, the Machinist Mate. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the machinist mate school is right there. So just went across the street for A school.
Yeah.
After boot camp. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about when you first got to boot camp. I mean, you're already an athlete, so the physical part doesn't seem like it would be such a big deal, but
Yeah.
What was it like getting to boot camp, and what were your thoughts?
My thoughts were, holy cow. Boarded the bus right down here in Lansing, waved bye to my parents, and went to Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, took a bus over to Great Lakes. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was a whole slew of us on the bus. We get off. It's dark out already. It's 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And they can hear you coming, and you can hear them coming.
They're ready for you, but you're not really ready for them, are you?
Correct. I remember getting off the bus, and it was downpouring rain. And there was a tunnel between the boot camp and the other side of the base.
Mm-hmm.
And they had us march through the tunnel. It was like knee deep full of water. It went under the road. And I just remember the first morning waking up, being a little scared, but I also knew that, it's their job. My dad had me very well prepared. They're going to try to find your weakness, right? And they're going to get in your face a little bit, but just keep your mouth shut and your head up and do what you're told. So that's what I did. And it really made it a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I actually approached my company commander, and I was the athletic petty officer during boot camp. So I overseen all of our calisthenics, all that stuff, getting ready for our tests, before we could graduate boot camp. So,
It's interesting because at least when I went to boot camp, everybody was like, don't volunteer for anything, don't volunteer for anything. If you're smart about what you volunteer for, it can be a benefit.
Yes.
Well, you don't just raise your hand for everything, but, if you find something you like, it doesn't hurt to do those things.
Yeah. And you fill out your sheets when you go in, what your hobbies are. They had another guy picked as the athletic petty officer, and then he got in some trouble after like week 2, and he was gone. So we were 2 or 3 days after that. They hadn't picked anybody, so I actually went to the company commander's office and asked him if I could take on that role, and he gave it to me. So
Well, that's awesome.
yeah.
Now, I have a question that's like totally out of left field, but I always ask this because I went into the Navy at the end of '84, in like December of '84. Did you guys stay at the Mariner Hotel in Detroit before you left? Or do you even remember? Because I just remember the Mariner Hotel, and it was just awful.
I do remember it was an awful hotel. It was old,
Yeah.
but I don't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it, ever. So you get to basic training. Sounds like things went pretty well for you. Did you make like some good friends there? Did you, meet other people? How did that go for you?
Yeah, it went well. Again, like I said earlier, I'm very laid back. It's easy for me to talk with people. I did make some good friends. Some people that carried over into our A school, and we would travel back and forth from Chicago on the weekends, come home for a weekend. We'd ride together, that kind of thing. People that were local here. So yeah, I made some pretty good friends. There's nobody I really keep in touch with anymore from boot camp, but definitely from my time on the ship. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So you get out of boot camp, and your A school is right there. How was A school any different from boot camp, or was it different from boot camp for you?
It was different, and we had a little bit more freedom. We didn't have to stay on base on the weekends, that kind of thing. We could head out into town, go to the mall, whatever we wanted to do, or come home for the weekend, which we did quite often.
Yeah. Now, did they do, I remember in A school, you would have a test like every Friday. And then if you scored a certain score, you could leave at noon on Friday. So that was a great incentive to tap into my potential. Did they do the same with you guys?
I don't recall that.
Okay.
It's possible, but I don't recall, yeah.
Yeah. Spent a lot of time on the train between Michigan and Great Lakes, anyway, myself. So how long was your A school?
A school was 16 weeks, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, boot camp was 8, and then A school was 16.
And so did you come home after A school then?
I did. I came home. I already knew at that point that I was going to Japan for my first duty station.
Oh.
I was in A school when the commander called me into his office, and he informed me that you're heading to Japan. You've been chosen to go overseas and serve in Japan, over in Asia. And for a little bit, I was like, whoa. I chose like Mayport, everything on the East Coast, Mayport, right. Florida, Norfolk, and they're like, you're going to Japan.
Welcome to the Navy.
Yeah. So I was a little nervous about that, but I embraced it. And so I came home. They gave me some time off in between A school and actually flying over to Japan. So
what was it like coming home after that experience?
After the A school experience?
Yeah, after A school and basic training and all of that.
I felt accomplished. I felt proud. I felt like I had done something, right? And I got to talk to all my high school buddies and kind of tell them about it. And it was real cool. Yeah, and it was a family time, right? Because I knew I was going to be leaving for at least a few years. So spent a lot of time with my family, and it was a good time to be home and just talk with my dad, and yeah.
Now, did any of your buddies join as a result of you coming back home?
Not as a result of me, but my younger brother, my middle brother. By the time I got out, he was in.
Okay.
So yeah, but my best friend in high school just retired from the Army.
Oh.
So he was already involved. Even through high school, he was already involved with local recruiting and different things. He knew that he was going in the Army, and he actually just retired from the Army. So.
Wow. Now you keep in contact with him then?
We do, yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, so you come home, you jump on a plane, you head to Japan. Man, for a guy from the Midwest, Japan's got to be a little bit of a change.
It was. And my ship was in the Philippines when I got to Japan, but I had to go. I had to go to the base to Japan before I could go to the ship in the Philippines. So went to the base, checked in. I was there for about a week. I had to go through couple different trainings, and then they flew me from Japan to the Philippines to meet my ship. So
yeah, so
I didn't really get off base too much in that first week.
So were they on like a 6-month cruise then, or deployment at that time? Or
yeah, they were on a deployment, but it wasn't for that long. They had just been gone for like a few weeks,
Okay.
which we did quite often. As I found out when I got on the ship, we'd do just a 2-week jaunt over. We'd hit like Busan, Korea, and then jump over to the Philippines, and then come back.
Oh, now did you like that? Like, what was it like being in the Philippines for the first time?
Wow, that's a great story. First time we pulled into the Philippines, I had no idea what to expect.
Yeah.
And again, we're talking 1986. It's some parts of the Philippines are like a third world country. I'm sure Manila's a nice big city, but we were nowhere near Manila.
Right.
I was in Subic Bay. And when I boarded the ship, they put me in the forward engine room. Didn't really feel like home to me. I didn't really get to know the guys in the forward engine room over the first few days. And they asked me, would you like to move to aft engine room? I'm a young kid, away from home, didn't know what to expect. And I was like, sure. I moved to aft engine room. And after the first day, I was like, this is home.
Yeah.
It was a good feeling to get back there. Met some of the guys. I still keep in touch with my LPO at the time, Nelson Boyer, who lives up in Washington. He was I would say he's probably saved my time. Because I got out, he just made me feel at home.
Yeah.
He would take all the guys over to his house. He was married to a wonderful Japanese lady who would make dinner for us, and it was fantastic. So him and I still keep in touch. He's pretty old now, but so yeah, when I went back to aft engine room is when things really started to come together for me.
Yeah.
And they just made it, Nelson, more so than anybody, our LPO, just really made it fun and kind of interactive. And so my first time back to the original question, my first time in the Philippines is when I got switched to aft engine room. But I didn't really know anybody yet. Took me a few days. This is day one.
Right.
So I thought, well, I'm going to go see what this place is about. So I wandered off base. There's a bridge just off base. I crossed over the bridge, and probably within 10 feet, I said, nope, I'm going back on base, because it was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
McSaysay Street over in Philippines, if you've never been there and you're 18 years old, it can be overwhelming.
You want to take some buddies with you if you're going to do that, right?
Yes. So I turned around and went back on base, back to the ship. And the next day was day 2 or 3 in aft engine room, and they're like, come on, you're coming with us, let's go. And I went with those guys, and yeah, they kind of showed me the ropes, and they're like, do this, don't do that, go here, don't go there. So
it's interesting with my time in the Navy as well, is I found that people, like, any place I went, it was kind of that similar situation where they would take you out and kind of show you the ropes. Now, that doesn't mean they didn't mess with you, because you're the new guy, you've got to be messed with.
Yeah.
So that happens. But yeah, I remember very similar experiences. And so when you got there, I mean, what was their weapon of choice when it came time to mess with the new guy?
Oh, there's so many of them.
What's your favorite?
And I used a few of them.
Yeah.
On newer people, right?
Right.
One of the ones I remember is they want you to go find batteries for the sound-powered phones, right? So you're walking all over the ship asking people where the battery's at, or they want you to go find keys to the steam chest.
Yeah.
Right? Which is like where the water comes in, scoop injection off the bottom of the ship in, so we could have water to turn to steam, right, to propel the ship.
Right.
And they'd want you to go find the keys to the steam chest, which I always thought was pretty funny.
They ever send you to find a BT punch?
Oh, yeah. I was just going to talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I actually did that to another guy that came on board, and he got injured, and I felt bad. But,
oh, no.
Yeah, he got a BT punch, all right, from somebody that was a little bit bigger than him, and he ended up with a cracked rib. And
oh, no. Only in the Navy can we laugh about that.
Correct.
He got a cracked rib. That's
yeah.
You felt bad for a few minutes, right?
Right. They probably wouldn't laugh about it nowadays, but
no, I think you might get in trouble.
Yeah.
So now, how long were you in Japan then?
I was in Japan for right around just over 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you come home at any time in that 3 years?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. About a year and a half in, I came home. I used 30 days of leave and came home. for 30 days, and then went back for the second half. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, when you came home, what was it like between you and your friends? Like, you probably had friends that stayed here in Lansing and did whatever they were doing.
Yep.
You probably had friends that had left. And what was it like coming home and seeing the people that, just kind of hung out, stayed here?
I didn't really see a lot of people in that month. That friends of mine that I went to high school with and stuff, most of them were either had gone somewhere, were in school and had other friends.
Yeah.
Most of that time was spent with my family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, that feels like a theme with you. Like, family's pretty important to you then?
Family's everything.
Yeah. Yep.
Very important to me. Yep. I got, my wife and my 2 kids now, and I have an older daughter. She's not blood. She was my stepdaughter from a previous marriage, but she's 34, 35 now with 5 kids and lives in Arizona. But we talk to her often as well. So
yeah. Well, that's great. I think family is important.
Yeah, very.
Keeps us on track sometimes.
For sure.
Yeah. So you 3 years in Japan. Anything else happened in Japan that you wanted to talk about?
Well, I mean, I went all over the place when I was over there. Just getting to know the culture. The culture was different. I'm sure it's a lot different today than it was in the 80s. But one of the things I remember is getting out the ship, leaving base, and back then, all the wives of the Japanese culture, the men would walk ahead, and the wives would walk like 10 yards behind them with their heads down. Yeah. And I thought, why are all the women walking with their heads down here? It was strange to me. Yeah. But again, young guy, but I embraced it. I embraced the culture over there. It was very cool to learn some of the language and remove some of those barriers. And I met some of my best friends, even still today, when I was over there in Japan and on my ship, and went to a lot of places, took a lot of pictures, sent a lot of things home that I still have. My mom and dad were so good about every time I would send something home, whether it was a picture or a letter, they saved them all, and they're all in these photo albums that I can now show my kids. So that was pretty cool. Spent time all over Far East Asia. Did a 3-month tour, just ahead of the time when I got out. Really, it was my last deployment. We were in the Gulf of Oman, just doing circles while they were escorting Kuwaiti tankers out of the Persian Gulf. So that was not long before the first portion of Desert Storm. Yeah.
Yeah, things haven't changed a lot in the last 40 years, have they?
Yeah, here we are again.
Still escorting ships out of the Persian Gulf, huh?
Yeah.
But yeah, so you now did you get out then after your time in Japan?
Yep, after my first tour.
Okay.
Yep, I got out, and I'm not sure why. To this day, things worked out for me. Yeah. I'm very blessed with everything that I've done and everything that I've, where my family is and everything that we have, roof over our heads, that kind of thing. But I still look back and I wonder to myself sometimes, what would have been different? Why did I just one tour, 4 years and I was out?
Right. Because it sounds like it was a great experience.
It was. Yep. It was a great experience. And my daughter just 2 weeks ago sent me an email, and she goes, "Dad, so my nephew just joined the Army, and he leaves for boot camp on July 20th. And somebody else that my daughter works with has a son that's going into the Air Force." So she emailed me and she goes, "Can you give me a story? Can you give me some advice? I'm going to write a letter to both her cousin and this coworker's son. I want to write a letter, and I just want, of encouragement. And I just want some advice from you. What would you tell them coming out of high school and going to boot camp and going in the service?" So when I was writing an email back to her, that's when I was kind of thinking, and it's not the first time, but why'd you get out? I work with a few guys that retired out of the service, out of the Navy. They retired at 40, 41 years old, and they have a pension from the government, and they're working for the board, same place I'm at. So
yeah. Well, you don't get the benefit of knowing what would have happened, right? You only get the benefit of knowing what did happen.
Correct.
At the end
And
of the
again,
day.
I'm very blessed with my family and the position I'm in today. And had I stayed in, I might not, probably wouldn't have my kids and my wife. And
Yeah.
some of the things I hold close.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit then. So you get out of the Navy, you come back to Michigan then,
Yep.
and then what happens? Now you're not married yet, right? At this
Nope,
point,
not at this point. Nope.
Okay.
I get home. I did a couple odd jobs. I sold vacuum cleaners for a while.
You're that guy.
I'm that guy knocking on the door, with the rainbow vacuum cleaner in hand.
Yeah.
I did that for a little bit, just trying to find my way, And then I applied at the Board of Water and Light. They had some power plant positions open. And I thought right up my alley, right? I worked in the engine room on the ship. So I applied, and 9 months after I got home from the service, I hired into the board 37 years ago next month, and I'm still there. So
Hard to believe, isn't it? Like,
it is. It went by so quick.
yeah, like when you're that young, 37 years seems like a long time away. We're laughing at the old guys that we are today.
Correct.
Yeah, I remember those days. And so did it just feel like a natural fit? Like I understand why you applied to the job, but like when you got there, did it just feel like, oh, this isn't that much different from what I was doing before?
It did, right? It was very similar.
Yeah.
I guess the only difference is I wasn't a boiler technician.
Right.
So I wasn't working on the boilers. I was more on the propulsion side. But an engine room's an engine room, right? And it didn't take much to put two and two together and figure it out. It was a lot like the Navy. It was. I hired in with 4 other guys, and all 5 of us were from the U.S. Navy.
Yeah.
So the board hired a lot of people for the power plants back then from the military.
Right. Well, I mean, they know you're trainable. They know you have the basic understanding of what to do. They just got to show you their system.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah. And so what was your, like, when you initially started then at the board, what exactly were you doing?
So I was an operator at the Eckert Power Station.
Yeah.
The 3 stacks downtown here. Yep. I was an operator, fan room operator. It was hot, up on the 10th floor. The fan room operator pretty much runs everything from floor 2 all the way to floor 10. Just taking readings, bearing temps on fans, checking oil, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yep.
And then where'd you go from there?
From there, I spent time on the burner deck, on the boiler fronts, actually controlling the fire, the flame. And then I moved out to the Erickson power plant out on Canal. I was I had a goal of getting out of operations, getting off from, I worked midnight shift.
Yeah.
Low seniority, right? I wanted to get off from midnights. I wanted to get off from the weekend work. So I took a position out at our out at the Erickson Power Station on Canal. Just as a janitor, helper, plant production helper. And that was Monday through Friday, 7 to 3, a little bit of a pay cut, but I was okay with that until I could find something different.
Right.
So I worked out there for a while. And then the BWL did a thing where they red circled your wage. This was in the early 90s. I was out there maybe for a year or two. They red circled the job, not the wage, I'm sorry. And we had 2 of us that were helpers out there, and they red circled one. And I had less seniority than the other guy. So they said, you're going back to Eckert as an operator. They knew I didn't want to do that. And something that stuck out with me. So when I was at Erickson, my supervisor was Dick Peffley, who is now the general manager of the Board of Water and Light. Great guy. And he knew I did not want to go back into operations, but I also knew that if I wanted to have a job, that's where I was going to go. So
Right.
I went back, and I'll never forget, on a Saturday, maybe 2 or 3 weeks after I moved back, he showed up on a Saturday, just came in to see how I was doing. And I thought that was fantastic. And that's stuck with me for a long time. So I worked as an operator there for a couple years, and then I transferred next door. A lot of people don't realize this, but the 3 stacks at Eckert only the middle one and the west one are for Eckert Power Station. The one on the east is for the Morris Park Steam Plant.
Oh.
So I transferred out to the Morris Park Steam Plant, which was a pretty good raise, because you moved from the lowest level where I was at in the D shack over to control room. So I worked in the control room over there. Still on midnights for a couple of years, afternoons for a year or two, but I was there for about 12 years. And the last 8 of it, I was on day shift, was the trainer, worked as a trainer for a while over there. I love that plant. That plant was old. It was really cool, cool to operate. But I seen the writing on the wall. They were going to be closing that plant. So, and my wife said, listen, now I had 2 young kids, right?
Yeah.
And she said, listen, if you're going to move, find someplace that, again, you're not on weekends, you're not working every holiday, which is how I ended up in water where I'm at now. So.
Okay. Well, I find a utility business, like the rewards are great. Like the pay is really good.
Oh, 100%.
But you put in the time. Like,
correct. Yep.
It's hard work.
It's not easy.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Especially on the operation side.
Yeah. Yeah, I've spent, of my 28 years, I probably spent 20 of them in operations, and it'll wear you out.
It will.
For sure, especially those swing shifts and the night shifts and all that other stuff. So you mentioned your wife. Talk to me a little bit about your family.
Let's take a quick break.
Before we continue, we'd like to share a resource that may be helpful to veterans and their families. The Battle Buddy app from vetlifetoday.org is designed to connect veterans with support, resources, and a community that understands their experiences. If you or a veteran you know could benefit from those resources, we encourage you to download the Battle Buddy app and learn more at vetlifetoday.org.
Yeah, so my wife and I were friends for a number of years. We had a little group, kind of a little group that hung out a lot, and she was part of that group. I was married at the time to somebody else. She was never married prior to me, but we were just friends, right? We had a whole group that hung together, and when my first wife and I got divorced, it just felt like a natural thing. We kind of came together. She was single at the time. I was, so we started dating. We got an apartment before long. We bought our first house together before we were even married. We knew that we were going to stay together. We bought our first house, had our kids. We actually got married after my daughter was 6 months old when we got married. She's 27 now. Time flies. It does. Yeah. So we've been married for quite a few years. It's not a funny story, but we laugh about it now. About 3 years in, we got divorced, and we were divorced for four or 5 years, and then we got remarried. We've been together ever since. But.
That's not as uncommon as I thought it was, especially in utility business. I don't know why, but a lot of my friends, yeah. She's a wonderful person. But we had a couple kids. We built a brand new house. She didn't have the greatest childhood, and she just wasn't used to, she was like, I don't think I'm ever going to have kids. I don't want to bring them into this world the way, and right. Here I come in and I have a good job, and she had a good job. And we built this brand new house, and in this neighborhood where a lot of the women were stay-at-home moms, and she didn't have much time to spend with them, nor I don't think she wanted to. Right. So she just said, I woke up and I have 2 kids and a white picket fence, and she kind of lost her mind a little bit, she says. So we got divorced, but we remained very close. Our kids never suffered because of it. She stayed, we were blocks from each other. She bought her own house, and it really, actually, I think, helped her become the mom that she is.
Not saying she wasn't a good mom back then, but I think that the fact that she, growing up, thought that she was never going to have kids, and now she had two,
Yeah.
was hard on her system a little bit. Yeah, 5 years, and we co-parented, and we remained close, and we ended up getting remarried, and my kids are very lucky to have her.
Yeah. Well, congratulations
As am
on
I.
bringing that all back
So,
together.
yeah.
So you have 2 kids?
2 kids, yep.
Boy and a girl, or?
Boy and a girl,
Okay.
yep. The girl's the oldest, Chloe, and my son's name is Jack.
Yeah.
Both, we lived out in Grand Ledge when we built the new house, and so we remained out in that area. They started school there, finished school there, and then they both went on to, my daughter went first, Michigan State. She was in the Lyman Briggs College at Michigan State, and she graduated. And then my son went to LCC for 2 years, and then he transferred to Michigan State. My daughter graduated with a bachelor's in physiology, and my son graduated with a bachelor's in psychology. And now my daughter is in PA school at University of Detroit Mercy,
Wow.
working part-time as an MA, medical assistant in DeWitt at a family practice there. And my son interned in the mayor's office for the city of Lansing, and now works for HR for the city of Lansing as a contracted employee. And he just had an interview last week with the Board of Water and Light to look at a job here. So,
Wow, that's fantastic.
both very good people. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about my wife and my kids and how blessed I am with them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And vice versa. I think they're pretty.
Think they're happy with you?
I think so.
I don't know if I want my kids to learn psychology, though. I'm not sure I'd feel comfortable
He
with that.
does. He knows how to use it against us a little bit. Sometimes he surprises me with some of the things he comes up with.
Yeah, I'll bet. So you've been married how long then total with your wife?
All total, we got married in 1999.
Uh-huh.
So 2029 will be
30 years.
30 years.
Wow.
And we don't really
You count the break?
We don't count the break anymore.
Okay.
I remember when we first got married. We got married on what would have been our 11-year anniversary.
Uh-huh.
And our 10-year anniversary. I'm sorry. We got remarried in 2009. And my daughter looked at us and she said, "Okay." In 2010, on October 2nd, she looked at us and said, "Is this 1 year or 11 years?" And we both just looked at her and said, "Yes."
Indeed it is.
It's both. But yeah, we really don't count that time apart now. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's good. So yeah, all that time being married, 37 years at your job. Sounds like a great family.
Yep.
Sounds
Fantastic.
like growing up was great. You've got good people around you. Is there anything that we haven't talked about that you did want to talk about?
Boy, I'll tell you, one of the things that the military taught me was be resilient, right? And I talk to my kids about that all the time. And I have a story that a lot of people at the BWL who don't know, because there's not many people that are still here from when I first hired in.
Yeah.
So when I hired in the board, I wasn't, again, I was kind of an underachiever. I was not that great of an employee at the time. I had a hard time. I struggled going from the military back to civilian life, even though it was a short 4 years. They really instill, being on time and everything is structured. And then it went to no structure, right? And I struggled with that. So I was at the board here for about 1.5 years, 2 years, and I got let go. My wife at the time worked in the bar, in the bar scene. So I would, go with my buddies or whatever, and we'd go to the bar and sit and, until 1 o'clock in the morning, I'd have to get up and go to work, not saying that was that much different from my time in the Navy.
Right.
But my time in the Navy, I had somebody down there waking me up. Hey, it's time to get up for watch or whatever, to go to work.
Yeah.
Here I didn't. And so I lost my job, and they told me, they said, you're done, but we're going to give you a year, and these are the stipulations you got to meet. And then after that year, we'll hire you back if you can meet those stipulations. And it was set up for me to fail. Mm-hmm. But I thought, not a chance. I'm going to blow this, right? So I did everything they asked. I got my job back. And even after I got my job back, I was on a 2-year return to work probation. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget, I was on the BWL, they had a bowling league. In the department I was working in at the time, we had a bowling team that was in that league. And we were at bowling. It was a Wednesday night. It was my last day of that 2-year return to work agreement. And I remember the plant manager came to the bowling alley and shook my hand. By this time, I was an exemplary employee, right? There was no way I was messing this up. He came to the bowling alley and shook my hand. He said, "You're the first person to ever make it through that 2-year return to work agreement." So, and from there, now I'm managing Lansing's water supply.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? Not me. I never would have thought that, but here I am.
Yeah. Thank God for second chances.
100%. Yep. And I think that the military is what taught me to, you got to roll with the punches, but you got to be resilient, and you got to earn your way, because nobody's going to do it for you.
Right. Right. Well, I think that's a great segue into really my final question for you today. And that is, someone's going to listen to this 100 years from now. You and I won't be here unless they figure something out with modern medicine. But, what would you like to leave people with? Like, what piece of advice would you give to people who might be listening to this, years from now?
Don't wait. Don't wait for, again, I talked about it just a minute ago. Don't wait for somebody else to hand you something. You need to go and earn it. You need to be resilient. You need to be able to be proud of yourself, right? You gotta plow your own path, because nothing's going to be handed to you on a silver platter.
That's true. Well, thanks for sharing that, and thanks for meeting with me today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to the Veterans Archives podcast, and for helping us honor the service and sacrifice of our nation's veterans. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider sharing it with others so more people can hear these important stories. To learn more about our mission, watch additional veteran interviews, or find out how to record a veteran story, please visit veteransarchives.org. And if you or a veteran you know needs support or resources, we encourage you to download the Battle Buddy app from vetlifetoday.org. You can also hear Veterans Archives on Reads Across America Radio every Thursday at 5 p.m.